Most exciting destination in all of northern Wisconsin. LCO Casino Lodge and Convention Center, Hayward. LCO.
Hello, I'm Kimberly, and welcome to the NAVE News Update. It's Friday, July 6th, and many of the stories you hear here can be found at IndianCountryNews.com. And here's the news for today from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. First Nations Development Institute and Echo Hawk Consulting released groundbreaking research about attitudes toward and perceptions of Native Americans as part of a joint managed effort called Reclaiming Native Truth, a project to dispel America's myth and misconceptions. The project also released 2 messaging guides based on research findings and a narrative change strategy framework that will be used to begin to change the false and misleading narratives about Native peoples.
Reclaiming Native Truth was an unprecedented national research effort. Never before has there been such a sizable investment by philanthropy in this type of research, and certainly in terms of its investment in Native Americans.
So we knew from the beginning that we were going to be doing something that hadn't been done before. It's our belief that the work that we do this year and in the next year going forward will really create a foundation of information and data that Indian country can utilize.
The project seeks to create a long-term Native-led movement that possibly transforms popular narratives and images of Native Americans. A 2-year phase launched in 2016 created a solid foundation of unprecedented public opinion research and data, building upon previous research efforts. It was funded by a $2.5 million grant from W.K. Kellogg Foundation and significant financial contributions from numerous other entities and individuals. For more information, you can visit reclaimingNativeTruth.com. The University of Arizona chapter of Engineers Without Borders is working to create a safe, clean water supply for people living on the San Carlos Apache Reservation. The group is designing a water purification project as part of an effort to revitalize 80 acres of reservation land in southeastern Arizona. Researchers detected high levels of arsenic in the community's groundwater. The engineers' project filters water from 2 wells on the reservation and uses it for agriculture. UA Chemical and Environmental Engineering professor Kimberlie Acosta notes students are also learning about the disparity of living conditions that exist across the region. UA Environmental Engineering students also developed a clean water project on the Navajo Reservation last year. Karen Nicola's research group helped design and build a solar-powered filtration system mounted on an old school bus. The University of Washington Press published a book designed for colleges on and off reservations to teach individual business owners. American Indian Business, Principles and Practices is a book written for Native Americans by Native Americans. Unlike other books that tend to address Native American economic development from a broad perspective, this text focuses on an individual rather than tribal government. Subjects covered in the book include history of Native American business, business law on reservations, legal forms of organization, tribal finance and economic development, Indian gaming, leadership practices, building ethics and values, health, human resources, service management for customers, and marketing. Profits from the book will support the PhD project, a foundation that helps pay for and encourage future generations of minority business students to attain doctorates and mentor future leaders. 17 high school and college students from a diverse group of indigenous tribes in New Mexico arrived at Princeton on June 9th for a week-long program focusing on contemporary challenges and federal policies affecting Native American communities. This year marks the 11th annual Santa Fe Indian School Leadership Institute's Summer Policy Academy, hosted at Princeton University's Woodrow Wilson School of Public and International Affairs. Students are selected to participate in the program after being nominated by their teachers, community leaders, business professionals, and tribal leaders. Through discussions, case studies, and presentations by Native leaders and academics, participants focus on issues related to education, language, environment, and health. At the end of the week, they traveled to Washington, D.C. to present their findings and policy recommendations to the United States Senators and members of Congress representing New Mexico, as well as officials from the National Congress of American Indians and the National Museum of the American Indian. Woman Walks Ahead, an A24 DirecTV film, is set for a wider theater release across the country over the next 4 weeks, as well as still being available on demand in the U.S. and Canada. The movie, which opened at the end of June in select theaters, starring Jessica Chastain, Michael Greyeyes, and Sam Rockwell, centers on a small moment in history. The 19th century efforts of Catherine Weldon, a white woman from Brooklyn, to paint a portrait of Lakota Chief Sitting Bull.
I'm going to paint the great Sioux Chief Sitting Bull.
Is that a fact?
I have traveled many miles from the east, across many rivers and hills, for the honor of speaking with you.
You got a train from New York, right?
Yes.
Nice.
You're not good at keeping still, are you?
Shoot me. Then I will be still.
What would be the point of shooting you? Bullets don't seem to have any effect.
This was my vision. White soldiers falling from the sky. Custer with his army. They tracked down every chief, killed them all.
Except for you. The only battle I ever fought against is insignificance.
So live more.
That's what I want to do.
One of history's most famous Native American leaders, Sitting Bull is most well known today for defeating General George Custer's army at the Battle of Little Bighorn on June 25, 1876, near the Little Bighorn River in what was then Montana Territory.
He looked so magnificent.
His women do not give him reason to hope. No one here is forgotten or forgiven, at least about the 7th Cavalry. This isn't over until Sitting Bull's dead.
You will think that you and me are planning some kind of uprising.
The people need a sign for them to believe in their own strength. They've been angry for a long time.
I fear that his return to Dakota is about revenge.
You idiots in Washington want to start another war.
If we fight, they'll massacre us all.
This is what the general wanted all along. And deep down, that's what the bull wants too.
Now, terrible things have happened here in the past. I'm just here to paint a painting.
Michael Greyeyes, who portrays Sitting Bull in the movie, is a Canadian Plains Cree actor who is no stranger to playing roles of Indigenous leaders. Across a 25-year career, he's been overwhelmingly cast in Native American and First Nation roles, including in popular series like AMC's Fear the Walking Dead, and has previously portrayed Crazy Horse and Wandering Spirit. Currently, Greyeyes is working on HBO's True Detective Season 3. And that's another roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me and have a grand day.